y'all. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm using my headphones on the YouTube recording and not on my Facebook Live, so hopefully it's not the worst. But today is Tuesday, Tears Day, named after Tyr, the Mars equivalent, essentially, of Nordic mythology. Tears Day, Tuesday, etymologically speaking, and it is March the 8th. Today, the astrology is as follows. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Taurus, just about to go into Gemini. Mercury's in Aquarius, Venus and Mars are conjunct in Aquarius. Jupiter's in Pisces, conjunct the sun still. Saturn's in Aquarius, Uranus is in Taurus, Neptune's in Pisces, Pluto's in Capricorn, and the North Node is in Taurus. Today is a Svadhisthana chakra day, so sacral chakra day. You can kind of take a gander at this and understand how the vibe is. It's in your lower abdomen, your genitals, basically, your reproductive organs. That's the creative area of your body in terms of life force creation. Keywords are happiness, confidence, and resourcefulness. Positive aspects are sociability, creativity, joyousness, independence. Negative aspects are being withdrawn, destructive, despondent, and over-dependent. The mantra is VAM, V-A-M, so if you're going to do that, do it in the key of D. VAM, right? I don't know if that's the key of D, but that's what you're going to be doing. Spiritual activities include meditation, celibacy, and fasting. Essential oils are jasmine, neroli, and orange blossom. The plant is jasmine. Crystals are tiger's eye, carnelian, and onyx, and the soul lesson is peace and wisdom. So today is a very creative, fluid, watery day, at least in terms of the chakra. So let's go ahead and pull some cards and see what wants to pop. Hopefully you all are doing all right. I know that I have been having insane dreams, but I'm not terribly surprised given Jupiter conjunct Sun in Pisces. Last night was all about Russia in a weird way, and like various cultures sneaking in and out of cultures. Made no sense, but c'est la vie, I guess. So the card we have for today is the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is as follows. If you're an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, and Aquarius, this is naturally going to resonate with your suit, the sword. And the Queen of Swords is the watery, i.e. the sacral chakra, the watery, the creative, receptive, emotional, potentially. The emotional part of what? The mind, of air, the sword. It says, use the power of nature to enhance your lifestyle. A brilliant mind, penetrating intelligence, serving a noble cause, well-articulated and outspoken. And given all the Aquarius energy, we've got Mercury, Venus, and Mars are conjunct in Aquarius, Saturn's in Aquarius. We have so much energy in Aquarius. It's very mental right now, right? It's very ingenious, very intellectually stimulating. Queen of Swords, I serve a noble cause. In mythology, the Queen of Swords was often rather simplistically conceived as an ice queen, quote unquote. This highly intelligent, forthright, and principled woman is tied to performing her duties and obligations as a monarch. She is not afraid for heads to roll when she needs to protect her own or her kingdom's interests. And it's funny, I'm wearing a Spider Woman, I'm not even sure, shirt. I just thought it was cool. I got it in Australia. I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. Made it a tank top. But that's very Queen of Swords, right? She's in the air. She's web slinging. She's making things happen for the sake of her perspective of justice. She's not afraid for heads to roll, which makes me think of the song Heads O Roll, Heads O Roll. The Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Good song. Check it out if you don't know. She is not afraid for heads to roll when she needs to protect her own or her kingdom's interests, but the dark tears symbolize the sadness she bears as a consequence, for she is no lover of execution nor death. To live in integrity, she would far rather build alliances with her adversaries than use brute force. This is on page 88, I might add. 88 keys on a piano. She is dressed here in Starman's samurai kimono. It represents her self-discipline, courage, independence, honor, and willingness to serve her kingdom no matter what. And a samurai is a warrior. Tears Day, Tuesday, the warrior kind of energy of the day. depending on where you're watching from. As a head of state, she offers excellent counsel and constructive criticism with a piercing intelligence and well-earned wisdom. Here she handles sacred medicinal plants which have co-evolved with human beings for millennia. We use them for healing and guidance as part of spiritual practice. We eat plants, drink their juices, ferment and distill libations from them. We consume them in 1,000 forms. While some are toxic, like the berries of nightshade, holly, and dogwood, many have proved extraordinarily valuable. Evidence of the use of herbal remedies, for example, goes back 60,000 years to a burial site in Iraq. Today, the majority of the world's population, an estimated 5 billion people, use folk medicine for both acute and chronic health conditions. That's like having mugwort to go to sleep or whatever. That would be like a folk remedy instead of like Tylenol PM or whatever. The kind of synthesized stuff that's not natural. Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. It just means it's not popping off a tree. The queen's medicinal journeying enables her to cleanse herself of toxic thoughts and experiences, a form of spiritual cleansing to restore the mind-body connection with head with heart. Right? We've got all this Aquarius energy with the heart, Jupiter, Sun conjunct, and Pisces. So we have both kind of showing off at the moment. Self-sufficient and perhaps a perfectionist, North Node in Taurus to a degree, she is phenomenally capable, knowledgeable, and engaging with a brilliant intellect able to penetrate into the source of a problem, whether the domain is personal, political, or corporate. Her keen intelligence quickly strips away what's not important, accurately reflecting the facts and uncovering priorities and values. In the process, she uses her own experience to help illustrate and unmask self-defeating patterns, understanding deeply on all levels the importance of a stitch in time to save 9. She applies this rigorous effectiveness with her own children, regarding it as her maternal duty to see her children grow up to be well-rounded, cultured, and highly educated, ethical adults. Not always the warmest of mothers due to the heavy burdens of duty, she does bring compassion and a deep understanding of the vicissitudes and trials of life. The Queen of Swords is deeply committed to them, contributing to their gifts and talents effectively and making a difference in the world. So today, the watery part of air on this Svadhisthana Chakra day, right? The water chakra, the sacral chakra, the place where mothers actually let the child come, gestate and then ultimately be birthed from, that sacral chakra area, is the watery part of air, the Queen of Swords. Using the power of nature to enhance your lifestyle, a brilliant mind, penetrating intelligence, serving a noble cause, well-articulated and outspoken, a wise guide. And we are being guided with the energy in Tuesday being very martial, very, not warlike, bellicose necessarily, but having kind of a gumption to it, right? She's got a sword. She's not fucking around. She's a samurai. It's like, have the sword ready, use it when necessary kind of thing. That's the energy we're having right now. And what we're doing is guarding our kingdom with our hearts, Jupiter, Sun conjuncted Pisces. We're like, what is my kingdom heart, the video game, or what is my dream? How do I defend it? And how can I strategize with Mercury, Saturn, Mars, and Venus conjunct in Aquarius? How can I strategize almost like Swiss Family Robinson? When they have the coconut bombs and the tiger pit and all that stuff. If you've seen the Disney movie, it's great. It's classic. One of my favorites. They got uphill. They took advantage, and all the pirates are coming, and they didn't have to use brute strength. They used stratagem to basically win the day. So the wise owl helps her illuminate her mind using stratagem and chicness in the kimono to win the day. Let's go ahead and get a clarifier. Hopefully you all are doing well. As you can hear, the birds are calling here in Costa Rica, La Fortuna, Costa Rica. I'm like 5-10 miles outside of La Fortuna, but nonetheless, still in the area. We got the 7 of Pentacles. So, 7 of Pentacles, it says gremlins. I pulled this the other day and I was like, oh, they're like gremlins. And then they look like elves though. So I was like, no, they're not gremlins. But it says gremlins on the bottom. So the 7 of Pentacles. Pentacles, if you're a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, is going to be your suit naturally. And the 7 of Pentacles is as follows, just vaguely, briefly, I should say. I carefully am bringing things to life, like the mother in the sacral chakra. 7 of Pentacles, the patience and kindness required to grow and sustain a life of value and beauty. right? So what are we doing? We're creatively, Svadhisthana chakra, we're creatively bringing into power, whoops, throwing cords everywhere. We're creatively bringing into power the Queen of Swords is the card of the day. Intellectually, things of value, things our heart wants. North Node and Taurus, we're building beauty, we're building a machine. It's kind of like Pink Floyd's line, it could be a monster if we all pull together, right? I think that's Have a Cigar, possibly. Yeah, one of the better Floyd songs. But we have to be using our minds and our wits in order to clarify the actions in the world that we take and the beauty and hopefully the creative processes that we engender in the world, right? How am I in Costa Rica? It's great. I'm doing a work-stay thing. I should do this everywhere. If I come to London, I'll do chores for you. And yeah, basically I'm here for 90 days. I might go to a professional surfer's house and help him build a deck. But I'm in the mainland near a bunch of volcanoes where the jungles are a little more, like there's a sloth sanctuary down the road and toucans and stuff like that, iguanas everywhere. I digress. So one of the advantages to reading alive is I get to interact with y'all. One of the disadvantages is as a double Gemini, I get distracted. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? So in any event, we're using our minds strongly today, and we're having a sense of willpower behind it, creative willpower. Tears Day, Tuesday, is that action, and it being a sacral chakra day is like use your head creatively. Like I was saying in Swiss Family Robinson, to make a tiger pit so your enemies fall into it so you don't have to work that much harder to hurt them is using your head. And then, I mean, in a sense, the people, the Swiss Family Robinsons, the family Robinsons, I guess they're from Switzerland. I'm aware of this, but I'm kind of piecing it all out loud. They were able to build an awesome treehouse, right? And live in it and make a beautiful place and tend to that life over time. So Rome isn't built in a day. Your life won't be built in a day either. But sometimes when the Visigoths are coming, you got to do certain things and build catapults or moats or whatever so that the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune don't fuck you up. So let's go ahead and get an animal oracle card. We've got the cat. Intuition. So I think with Jupiter conjunct Sun in Pisces, and Neptune and Pisces, the dreams, the intuitions, they're coming on full on, right? And even with Aquarius, it's like a mental intuition. It's like, hey, A plus B equals C. A plus C equals X. And then you kind of figure it out that way. So I think we're able to use our intuitive senses to creatively, right, Svadhisthana chakra, to creatively build the world around us into a better, more desirous place. North Node and Uranus and Taurus revolutionize the dream. But we have to use our wits. We can't just be like, I mean, one can, and there are seasons for oming and just kind of going into the hermit cave and hoping all things work out. But sometimes you have to build a fire to stay warm. You know what I mean? And to know how to build a fire takes more than just lightning striking luck. There are times for magic like that and, you know, trusting in divine creator and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So it's like there's magic that can hit you. But God helps those who helps themselves a little. Very North Node of Taurus. I think we have to use our heads in order to build the machine of life and get all the kinks out, put the oil in the gears, etc., etc. So, intuition. I actually just saw a cat the other day at a local organic farm. I'm going to have the guy on the podcast sooner than later. And there aren't many cats in Costa Rica. There's like eagles and hawks that'll eat them up, and there's obviously like a lot of snakes and stuff. Mostly dogs as security devices here. But I saw a cat and I was petting it and it was purring. And my God, I'm a cat. I love dogs. I get along with all animals, but cats are my jam. Nice cats, I should say. Skitty kitties are kind of lame. Ones that kind of come up to you and purr when you're like, come here, and you talk to them and stuff. They're the best. So 37. That will be how old I am this June. Jesus Christ, time doth fly. I turned, I think 32 or 3 in Switzerland, and now I'm almost 37. That's crazy to me. Just time is ripping. Cat, intuition. Use and develop your intuition. Sun conjunct Jupiter. There's probably, I mean, the conjunction is loosening now. It was more exact 2 days ago, but it's still loose, like 2 or 3 degree orb. It's still conjunct, I should say. It's not like 7 degrees. So it's a portal to tap into your psyche in a very intuitive way. Your magic. Use and develop your intuition. Your gut feeling is correct. You are not your mind. So that would be reminding us, even though the card of the day is the Queen of Swords, that we aren't just our brains. Use your brain. Use the tool in your, prefrontal cortex that makes us so uniquely human in our opposable thumbs. Use the tools and the machine at hand to creatively walk through the dream. But you're not just your brain. And to think that you kind of get caught on your ego a little more, and it happens. Don't worry. But like Marshall McLuhan, who is a Canadian philosopher, I heard this through Terence McKenna lecture actually. But Marshall McLuhan, he kind of had the medium is the message kind of vibes going on. He would have said that we read reality very differently now. At one point, we were pre-literate and more auditory, so we told stories. Maybe didn't have any writing, and then we started with the printing press. Essentially, we started reading reality as like, oh, DNA is AT and GC, and everything is left to right, and everything is classifiable in a very mental way. So we need to move beyond our minds at that level and kind of synthesize the two. It's taking the imaginarium of Sun conjunct Jupiter and Pisces with the articulation of thought that Mercury, Saturn, Venus conjunct Mars and Aquarius allows, in order to what? Beautify the world and enjoy the dream to the fullest vibrancy, the most beautiful way. North Node in Taurus. Develop your magical skills further. Like I said, Jupiter conjunct Sun for the past few days. This is a portal where you can really work on your magic. Don't fuck around. Don't let it slip by. Meditate. If you've never tried it, give it a shot. Chakra chanting is amazing. If you've never tried it, your body is like a cathedral. Maybe I'll actually even go live at points and do chakra chanting. I was doing that at one point. But in Australia, but it stopped allowing me to do it because of, I guess, song copyrights or whatever in the background. I can just do it with my earbuds and go and hold a tone long enough for y'all to do it. In any event, develop your magical skills further. Introduce more play into your life, right? So we really want to be kind of building a kingdom from the heart and applying our minds to engendering and maintaining that kingdom. The mind isn't the source of the kingdom of play, it's the enforcer. Just don't forget that, right? So we have the ability with our intuition on this Saladhisthana Chakra Day, right? This creative day, even though it's a Mars day, it's ruled by Mars, Tears Day, Tuesday, Mars equivalent. With the Queen of Swords, we have the ability to really tap into our prefrontal cortex in a way that engenders productivity, Seven of Pentacles, and maintenance of the dream. And ultimately, that dream is for our intuitional sake. Like, that's why we're here. We're here to dream big. It's kind of like an Inception when they're like, you've got to dream bigger, honey, or whatever, darling, or whatever he says. It's like that. So, Cat, I will stop rambling. Cat, mythos. The Egyptian goddess Bast is the embodiment of cat energy. A very ancient deity, she was originally a lion goddess, somewhat like Sekhmet, but her land and nature diminished in favor of the cat energy. A very ancient goddess, Bast is featured in Egyptian Book of the Dead. Statues of Bast usually depict either a woman with a cat's head or a regal, beautifully formed cat with royal symbology, and sometimes a lion mask signifying a hidden, fierce nature. Bast often offered protection to her worshippers in everyday life rather than in battle, as this was Sekhmet's role, and she was the goddess who helped bring messages and guidance through intuition. Bast also demonstrated a loving, playful energy. The historian Herodotus traveled to Egypt in the 5th century BC and told of his experience at the festival of Bast at the riverside town of Bubastis. He spoke of people traveling down the river by small boat and playing and jesting with people on the shore as they passed, right? Sacral chakra, waters, playing, Jupiter conjunct Sun in Pisces, as they passed. And once they reached the temple, quote, they make a festival with great sacrifices, and more wine is drunk at this feast than in the whole year. Very Jupiterian, Neptunian. Sounds like a lot of fun. I don't drink anymore, but cheers. In ancient Egypt, domestic cats were very much a part of city. And I should say, it was talking about how we make libations in the Queen of Swords, how we make libations from the natural elements around us. Fermented grapes is one of those libations. In ancient Egypt, domestic cats were very much a part of city and family life. In a time when plague and disease could not easily be halted and could easily spread, the services of a feline hunter were appreciated. Cats became symbols of protection and royalty, and even were mummified as companions and protectors of the dead in the afterlife. In Norse mythos, cats famously pulled the goddess Freya's chariot, surely an activity not for beginners. Cats have always been associated with cats have always been associated with witchcraft of many traditions. Very magical, right? Jupiter conjunct Sun in Pisces. And casting specific spells, Mercury and Saturn in Aquarius. Cats have always been associated with witchcraft of many traditions, especially in Europe. It was said that a black cat could give you good or bad luck depending upon your culture, and that cats are able to see spirits and travel between the worlds of the dead and living at will. It is this association that made cats a target for burning and killing in the Middle Ages and encouraged the plague that was spread by fleas carried on rats. Because people weren't using their heads well enough and dreaming well enough, they actually halted the progress of their machine moving forward. Seven of Pentacles, their world was turned upside down in a large way. And it is what it is. It's like we have to learn these things through time-space. Got an itch in my leg. But because people killed the cats, the rats with the buboes on them, the bubonic plague, the Black Death, spread more readily, and that's what took out a third of Europe's population. So they're our friends. All life, I mean, everything is exactly where it should be, so you can't say, oh, that shouldn't have happened. We had a lesson to learn through that karma, but let's not repeat it. Let's not just kill cats, incredulously. The animal. Next to dogs, cats are the most popular domesticated companion animal. I said domesticated lightly because scientists believe they haven't quite completed the domestication cycle as yet, since they tend to survive well on their own in colonies and still retain a very independent nature. Humans have been a part of cat life for in excess of 10,000 years, according to the latest archaeological information. They were invited in not just because of their appearance, but because of their abilities as mousers. It's very utilitarian, right? They're working on the farm. They're helping the farm out or the household or whatever. Very North Node of Taurus is like, we're going to keep things healthy and safe and beautiful. But also Aquarius, Saturn, it's like, we will be the mousetrap. Very helpful. For the team. The Egyptians loved their house cats so much that if they died, there would be an official period of mourning that included eyebrow shaving. And I just scratched my eyebrow. Eyebrow shaving, and their cat would be mummified and taken to Bubastis. Cats come in all shapes and sizes, and humans have spent a lot of time honing and creating specific breeds. However, from Siamese to Maine Coon, they are all feline and are all scientifically known as Felis catus, hence the name Felix the Cat on the cartoon. Cats are small but athletic and are able to jump great distances. They are hypercarnivores and use a variety of vocal sounds and purring to the delight of humans and other cats. Scientists are still debating about the evolution of the purr, but I think most cat owners would understand that it encourages us to give them more of the treatment that makes them purr in the first place. In the main, it is a sign of contentment and happiness. The magic. So tap into this deeply, especially given the portal of Jupiter conjunct Sun in Pisces. Cat magic can be used in a variety of ways, including to increase happiness, curiosity, a sense of play and lightness, and somewhat paradoxically, when we may be wanting to connect with someone who has passed. Cats are considered guides to the underworld and can help with mediumship. If you have a cat yourself, it is said that you have the blessing of any goddess who loves cats, so this can only enhance your life. The symbology, almond-shaped eyes, woman with a cat's head, chariot pulled by cats, a vertical pupil, black cats. Status is of least concern. Clearly, there are shit tons of cats, but they are our friends. Even if you're not like a cat person, there is a wisdom, an intuitive knowledge, right? A watery part of air, Queen of Swords, part of cat reality in our lives, whether they're rodent killers or whatever. They help us have a more, and especially if they sit in your lap and purr, they help you have a more creative reality. They're inspiring, I guess is the best way to put it. So be like the cat, tap into your intuition. So let's go ahead and pull an I Ching hexagram. And see what that has to tell us today. We've got number 40. No, I think it's a 1. Can't be 70 because there aren't. Can it? Are there 70 cards? That's got to be a 1, but my God, that's a weird ass looking 1. It's not a 4. I guess that's 10. All right, so 10. We've got number 10. Sometimes style can take away from content. Where it's like, I can't read this stylized thing. We shall see really quickly if it resonates with 10. Conduct. Whether you accomplish success or steer a course to disaster depends entirely upon your own behavior, right? It's a both and. We're part of a dream that's happening to us, but we're also very responsible for who we are and what we're doing. So you can't just be like, well, life's happening to me. Well, it's like, yes, it is, but you are the one processing all forms of reality through your senses and your electromagnetic presence and all this kind of stuff. You're witnessing the dream, but you are the dream you're witnessing. So responsibility is how you're a conduit, which is kind of a semi-root word of conduct. So never just relinquish your responsibility totally, and then never think it's all because of you, because it's kind of a dance between the two. So anyway, whether you accomplish success or steer a course to disaster depends entirely upon your own behavior. Maintain your, right? Like we were reading about in the cats. Humans created the bubonic plague. The Black Death, the buboes, the plague was on the rats that were in ports and stuff anyway. But because of their choice of behavior to kill cats out of basically superstition, there was a consequence to that. So they reap what you reap what you sow. It's no joke. By doing so, your authority will remain unassailable to the envious and malcontent. Think carefully, right? Think carefully. Queen of Swords, card of the day. Think carefully. Use your head, but also use your intuition, use your creativity. Don't just use your logical mind. Think carefully. There needs to be an overall change in values, i.e. North Node and Taurus. We're shifting our values. Uranus conjunct Taurus. I don't think it's conjunct the North Node, but Uranus and North Node and the Moon in the last degrees of Taurus. We're reestablishing our value boundaries, basically, globally and personally. There needs to be an overall change in values before fair differences in rank can be established. Develop your own feeling of self-esteem to correspond to your abilities. Try to think positively. Work towards establishing a communication with others which develops feelings. Then you will also make a contribution to the realization of your own plans. Mercury in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius, Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius, right? When you use your head and engineer your own life well, and you're a product, let's say it's like having a garden. If you're a plant, having your integrity as an individual plant is very important, but how you operate within the terrarium of being in that garden is also very important. So it's a both and, right? We're a conduit, but our conduct is our responsibility. How we operate, how we choose to look at the cup half full or empty, that's up to us. And we might have personality traits that cause us to, be more melancholic or more logical like Spock or whatever. Holler for a reading if you want to know thyself. I can help you on that front. But ultimately, the buck stops at you. And the more you kind of delegate responsibility, it's weird. It's like a humble responsibility because it's like, tend what you can and be grateful for, I think it's the Alcoholics Anonymous thing where they're like, God, help me know what I have control over, what I don't have control over, and know the difference. Because there's things that it's like, in a quantum sense, I guess me and Putin and Jeffrey Epstein Island and all this shit have stuff in common. But in a real practical sense, I don't have much playing on that field. So we're all entwined, but you can't beat yourself up for the whole world. You just have to tend your garden. I'm rambling. Gemini life. So let's get one more card and then I'll let y'all go. We have Serpentine. Or no, it's not. Peridot. I'm totally lying. Peridot. 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 Correct me if I'm wrong. I am definitely not a crystal authority. That's why I got this deck, because I don't own every crystal. It's an amazing stone deck. Get it? It's really snarky and sassy and fun. But you can quantumly entangle with this, especially given all the Aquarius energy. But you don't have to own this to kind of get the gist of the vibes of this thing. So what it is, precious peridot, a chic type of olivine, okay, new words for me, is the vitamin D of your crystal diet plan. The stone's sunny energy and candy lime hues promote a zest for life. And a zest for life in what? A creative way, a vibrant way, and a place of action in a sense, right? Tuesday. The stone's sunny energy and candy lime hues promote a zest for life. The intensity of peridot's green shade comes from iron, a metal with an energy that gets things done, right? Action. Who needs it? Brooders, the lackadaisical, anyone dreading those long winter nights. So if you're dealing with depression, and it's still winter technically, I know it feels like summer here where I am in Costa Rica, but March 21st is the official start of spring. So if you're dealing with the cold winter blues, or if you're dealing with, existential kind of dread or brooding, which could be a kind of shadow of Jupiter and Sun conjunct in Pisces, where you're just like, whoa, where's this dream going? I feel like I'm in Willy Wonka's fucking tunnel. Tap into this energy. Where to put it? Wherever you give chase to love, to money, power, joy, whatever you're going after, whatever you're trying to manifest, North Node in Taurus. When to use it? When you're not applying yourself, right? And because today is about creative application, right? Svadhisthana chakra. Tears day. It's this action-oriented day, Mars-ruled kind of day. When you're not applying yourself, success isn't something to be afraid of. And that's the thing I've got to hear for myself, because I tend to be like, oh, it's all good. And it's like, sometimes you have to chase the carrot if you want the carrot. You have permission to unabashedly go for it. Power up with Peridot and enjoy the ride. It says magnetize your motivation. So we got to be using our heads and intuition. I think it's a both and kind of day, right? We're getting the Queen of Swords. We're getting this intuition with the Jupiter-Sun conjunction. But we're also getting an articulate kind of schematic with all the Aquarius, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Mars conjunct Aquarius. We're getting this way to create a new world, Seven of Pentacles. And in order to do that, we have to conduct ourselves, be responsible. She knows how to be a mother. Maybe she's not the softest, but she also knows how to be a guardian, a steward of the realm or whatever. Kind of like a lot like Galadriel, right? Where it's like she's taking care of business. And how do we do that? By knowing what we desire and moving towards it. And hopefully we realize that some level of desire and attachment are part of the Maya, part of the illusion, but they're also mechanisms by which we operate. They're not all bad or good. That's why yin-yang is a yin-yang. There's a little bad and good. There's a little good and bad. So desire, at some point, I mean, when you're on your deathbed, you're going to have to be like, well, thank you for the dream and I enjoyed it, as opposed to being like, I don't want to leave this place. That's the kind of clutching that we don't want to do. But to have ambition, to have motivation, and to seek pleasures, experiences, relationship, understanding, any of these things to a degree is why we are here. So tap in with Peridot, magnetize your motivation, and ultimately use your head coupled with your intuition in order to conduct yourself in the world in a productive and meaningful way. Hopefully, as a team, Saturn, Venus, Mars, Mercury, they're all working together, Aquarius team, and they're making the machine work. Like I said, in Have a Cigar by Pink Floyd, it says, this could be made into a monster, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like, this could be a big deal if we all put ourselves together and pulled our weight, and, to each ability did their own, pulled their own weight. I'm not a communist, but it's like, if you're capable, do it. Don't just balk and run away from responsibility. And then at the same time, don't try to shoulder all responsibilities. You can't take on the weight of the world. You'll crumble and you'll go insane. So, if you enjoyed that, like it, tag people, share it, whatever's clever. I give readings for an hour of cards like this for you personally on any query or kind of general vibes. It's $33. That's a lot of fun. 5 stars only. I've given probably a few hundred readings at this point. For astrology, it's $88 for 3, sometimes 4, but usually 3 hours of astrology. And for both, it's $111. If you've enjoyed this, normally I'd be playing my guitar and jamming. You can see memories in my Facebook timeline or whatever. I'm a musician primarily, but that's upstairs, and the gear I have here isn't the best. So I'm being a kind of Venus and Taurus perfectionist on that. I'm like, if it doesn't sound amazing and in tune, I don't want to deal with it. But you can get readings. Leave a tip if you feel so inclined. I am unemployed. I'm doing workstay stuff here in Costa Rica. I'm not just in some 5-star resort. I'm working 4 hours a day doing kind of labor and stuff. So leave a tip. Hit me up for a reading. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast in 2 days. Tomorrow, actually, Wednesday. We have Gemini Brett coming on. He's an amazing astrologer. He gave me a reading right before I came here for 2 hours, and that was amazing. So y'all should hit him up. There's only a few astrologers who I'm like, oh, I give you the keys to my castle or whatever. He's one of them. But he's very Queen of Swords about it. He's very intellectual. I have a recording of his reading, and I'm gonna have to listen to it again. And it's so deeply kind of schematic and Aquarian. He is a Scorpio Sun Moon Gemini. that it was kind of mind numbing in a sense. It wasn't just like, oh, today's going to be a good day. It's like, oh, your perihelion is a conjunct this, combust this, and this is what this astrologer thinks, and these schools. It was very heavy. Anyway, he's coming on the podcast. We've got 270 episodes. Check it out. And ultimately, hopefully you tap into the power of your mind in conjunction with your heart, all this Aquarius energy, all this Jupiterian and Piscean energy, and you wield the sword of being well. It's a lightsaber, and it can cut you, but you can also chop vegan butter with it, right? So enjoy your Tears Day, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Adios. Bye.